So there was some interesting news today. We were good to announce that Mega Smash Mondays will be on hiatus until further notice. We'll be sure to share any updates as they become available. Wondering what this is about. I'm not too sure, though. Also, this, which just makes me rage. Yesterday, we were contacted by Nintendo regarding Project Plus, Beyond Melee, and 64 Remix Riptide City. Unfortunately, as a result of that conversation, we are removing these events from Low Tier City. We understand how difficult this is for these communities, and we will be soon contacting all players registered for those events with further information regarding refunds. We weren't too surprised by this, given the fact that Nintendo had canceled PM or P Plus at Riptide recently, so it wasn't that surprising, but it still is very disheartening, you know. And I use the word disheartening, you know, very strongly here. It no longer is just PM. It looks to be any game that has some significant form of modding at events, regardless of the game is available. Like, I guess 64 is on the Virtual Console. It is. 64 is available on the Virtual Console, right? I'm pretty sure. Or is it not? Maybe I'm crazy. But then you have P+, which is a Brawl mod, which you can't buy Brawl anywhere else. There's no more online for it. And you have Beyond Melee. If this happened at 2 events, it will happen at every single event imaginable. I guarantee you now there is a team at Nintendo who is willfully looking into every event which might have a mod to their game, and they are shutting down the event. Now, legally, they have the right to do that. That is true. But morally, I don't think they should. And I don't think that's a surprise to anyone, because it doesn't really hurt them. Am I crazy in saying that? I don't think this hurts Nintendo at all to have a 100 entrant 64 remix tournament in a water park. Isn't there bigger fish to fry for this company? My point is, I don't really know what the future holds for any of these scenes at this point. It's one thing for them to tell Twitch you can't broadcast this, right? It's one thing to have it not be broadcast. Actually, there was, I think it was hitbox.tv was the place where PM tournaments were streamed for a while. But it's another thing altogether to actually go to the event and tell them the event, you can't even host this. Like, guys, consider that for a second, guys. You can't even host this event. It's not even they're not even talking about broadcasting it. This could very well not be streamed. It could very well not be streamed. They could have just said you can't stream this. But no, they just said you can't have that. They just said at Low Tide City. So this is beyond Beyond Melee. This is beyond any of these mods. When I read that, that's when I realized, like, this is just, like, what's there to gain from this? What is actually there to gain from this by Nintendo? Apart from, if they're doing it for the greater good, it's customer angst, right? It's gonna make people angry. It's bad PR for the company itself. I'm literally looking at this as a net gain or a net loss for Nintendo, right? Net gain being protecting their IP, net loss being angry consumers. And I think this is a way bigger net loss. Like, look at the waves this is making on Twitter. The amount of quote retweets, just everyone angry as hell. Like, you can't make it up, you know? So, anyways, they're going down a very bad direction, and I really hope they fix it. But yeah, it's just very, very sad. It's very, very sad. And there's so many other companies that just wouldn't do this, you know? They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't go nearly that far. They wouldn't push this agenda as far as they are. And on top of that, they wouldn't like punish players for just wanting to enjoy games that are old, games that aren't even released anymore, games that really have no life in them at all. At all. There's no one's buying these games. No one is even giving them any consideration. But people are still playing it. Why? Because of the modding community, for breathing life into the game once again and celebrating Smash Bros. Not trying to wipe it under the carpet. I don't get why they're doing that. I don't get why they're doing that. So I'm upset to the surprise of no one, but I'm also worried, and I'm really, really worried for any events that want to do this. What I'm most worried about is this, because it needs to be said. We're not exactly playing on vanilla versions of Melee, are we? You know? Granted, we're not putting new IP into the game, but there's certain flaws in Melee inherently that needed to be fixed in order to have a vibrant, competitive community, you know? Something like Frozen Stadium. You're not adding anything to it. You're just changing a 1 to a 0 in a game parameter to make it a little better. But I feel that, like, little things like that, they never really cared about. I don't think they're going to care about that, but it's just like, you know, I assume 64 Remix, P Plus obviously has new characters, 64 Remix has new characters, and Beyond Melee, all three of these have new characters. And I think that's the issue here. So I want an experiment to happen. As shitty as it sounds, can you have these games without adding new characters? Will they care then? That's what I want to know. That's the answer that I want. And if it's still that shitty, if people aren't going to be allowed to have tournaments at all legally, if they have new IP in it, I want to see what happens if they say we haven't included any new characters. So yeah, I don't know. They sure as hell didn't shut down Slippy, that's for sure. Right? So it's probably just the events. When there's any money to be made, then it's probably there. You know, when it's more like a Patreon thing, it's different. But in any case, let me get a hashtag save Smash. Absolutely unforgivable at this point. They need to hire someone. They need people in there to do it. So anyways, thanks for watching.